Hi, I'm Brandy, and today we're going to learn a fun technique called watercolor stamping. So the stamp set I'm going to use is called Fresh Fruit, and this one is perfect for the technique just because it is two-step and it also has this watercolor look to the stamps already. When you stamp these, they have a little bit of a wash to them already. See how that pear looks like the light is shining on it? You can see that gleam on the peach. That's just how they stamp in a regular ink pad. But we're going to take it a step further today and actually do a watercolor technique. So let's get started. The first thing that we need is watercolor paper. And I've already taken my paper and cut it down to the right size that I want for my card. And I'm just going to make kind of a wash on the background. So I'll grab my Pool Party ink pad, and I'm going to use just the lid right here. You can do a thing where you just squeeze the pad and get a little bit of ink right there in the lid. See that? And I can just leave it open in my workspace. Also, I want lots of this nice light blue ink, so I'm going to use a drop of our re-inker as well and just put a little bit there so I'll have some extra. And then this is an aqua painter. It is filled with water that flows through a valve as I use it, which is awesome. And I'm going to squeeze it and get lots of water right up in here so that I have a good watery pool to work with. And then to make a watercolor wash background, I'm just going to go swoosh it right here across the card front. And don't be shy, you can go ahead and get lots of water on here. I'm not going to go off the edges, but I'm going to go close because I want a whole kind of a background. You can even drop a little extra color in there. And then I'm going to want to set that aside to dry, and it will kind of get a nice variegated effect like this. So here's mine that I've already dried. Now let's go ahead and add some fun stamping to this background too. We're going to get crazy and make it really watery looking. Let's start with our Peekaboo Peach ink pad and just the little peachy stamp. And then I want to add a little bit of a darker orange edge as well. So this is the Tangerine Tango ink. I'm going to take that stamp already inked up and just roll it so only the edge got that darker ink. The other thing I'm going to do before I stamp it is actually spritz the stamp. So this is a Stampin' spritzer, just a little spray bottle that can help me with some of these fun watercolor projects. And I'm going to spray this 3 times. I want that ink to really kind of pool up on the stamp. And then we'll come over here and press it gently to the paper. This watercolor paper does a great job of keeping the ink pooled the way I want it and absorbing it so that you still keep that effect. See how cool that looks? Let's go to our leaf stamp with the Pear Pizzazz. This one, since I'm only using one color of ink, I'm still spritzing, but I'll just give it one little spray, and that'll be enough to get my pooled ink. See that? There are 2 other stamps I want to do the same thing with. So here's a little kind of a flower swirl. I'm back to my Pool Party ink pad, so staying with my color scheme here. Whoops, one little spritz. And we'll stamp that guy there. And last one, let's go for Watermelon Wonder. And this cute little flower stamp that is also in the same stamp set. Just a little spritz. And you can see that kind of stamps all watery. Now if I kept going and covered up my whole entire background, the finished watercolor stamping looks like this. So you see you get those beautiful kind of depth of color, the images run a little bit, and it's just not as crisp as if I had gone straight from the ink. So this can be really fun for some particular watercolor type projects. Now I'm going to use this piece to actually create what I call a magic card. Here's my finished sample here. You can see I've got my little fruit pieces, and as I pull that out, there's my watercolor look. Now, to get the exact instructions on how to put together the magic card, check out my other video that shows a tutorial on that. Click here for that video. And to get all the products I talked about today, visit StampinUp.com or contact your demonstrator.